I was always fueled by hate. So every time I succeeded in life is because someone undermined me and I wanted to break their jaw, but instead of breaking their jaw, I wanted to prove that I'm better than them. Is that healthy? No, it's super toxic. It doesn't matter if they give you a lot of dollars. It matters if they want to give you $1 and then they want to give it to you again. So what I'm generally advising to early stage startups is to totally ditch, and this is, by the way, one of the red flags, to totally ditch all the things that they read and are being told on LinkedIn about ads, scalability, complex pricing models and per seat and that. No, just don't really like so much this stuff anymore. I like building stuff. I like building. I'm a builder.
I would love to understand why How to Web?
It's extremely fortunate to visit Romania. I have spent almost a year in Romania. I have lived in Romania in my 20s. And How to Web is one of the legacy, most legendary tech conferences in Europe. So it's a huge honor to be there, and also meet friends from Romania again, like you.
What's the topic? What you're gonna talk about?
I was thinking of basically talking about the things that founders do that most probably will lead them to murdering their own startup. I juggled between topics about PLG and PLS and how to acquire customers into technical products, but I was thinking, oh my God, I'm so bored of that. And I think people will be very bored of that, and they will have a lot of that in abundance in How to Web. So I was thinking of following something a little bit more fun, a little bit more fundamental than the technicals, how to do this, how to do that, and go towards the route what not to do to not doom yourself, which can have a lot of stories, can have a lot of fun stories, can have my own failures, a lot of them.
Nice. Okay. And if you have to pitch for 30 seconds why someone should be in one of the seats in front of your stage, how you'll do that?
Okay, you wake up and you connect to LinkedIn, and then you get into your meetings, and then you work on your startup. And in all of these places and environments that you are, you will not hear and you will not read actual fuck up stories, actual reasons that someone might murder their own company. Everyone is successful, everyone is doing everything right, everyone is hustling around us. I can tell you in advance, this is all bullshit. So in my presentation, you will hear the raw, real truth about what you might do or actually doing that might murder your own startup. And most and foremost, I will not present myself as a know-it-all expert. I will actually tell you what did I do that murdered my own startup. And because I have worked with a lot of different startups, like I can count more than 100, at the moment, and I'm not even exaggerating on that, even from the first 1 or 2 meetings, I understand what is going to happen with a potential startup. So I will tell you all these red flags that indicate that something is going wrong. So it will be fun, it will be raw, real. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Good. Let's get now into some dirty stuff. And one of the things that I want to understand from your side is, what is something that stood up in your experience and it's a core story from your, like, how did you end up doing what you do today?
Okay, I'm that old that I remember the times where social media were cool, and by cool I mean it
Like
was
high five, cool.
Exactly, it was the new cool thing. We were pitching to businesses that they need to get into social media because they were not. So at that time, I involved myself into marketing, digital marketing, social media marketing. So I started as a marketer. But then I reached some senior positions into marketing, And then I moved to London. And again, I was a marketer. I had some startups under my belt. And I started feeling that in marketing, sorry, marketers, I started feeling that in marketing, the one that actually wins the deal or does a better job is the one that sells most fluff. I felt like my career depends on how good I am in diplomacy and a little bit of a fluff and a little bit of selling hope. And because I'm a Balkan Mediterranean gorilla and I'm not I'm not having these skills, so I was like, okay, I need to do something that is more robust, more scientific. In the same time, I started reading about product market fit and I fell in love with the concept, with all the concepts behind product market fit. So I started studying like rigorously and I took a course into product management. I was like, okay, I'm gonna become a product manager. And I became a product manager. But then I never got rid of the marketing out of me. So ultimately I became a product manager that understands marketing.
And
And then,
acquisition.
exactly, which in one word is called growth product manager. So I made a career as a growth product manager, which is the person that solves problems that expand across the funnel. You might have a product issue here that might be caused by a marketer's decision here. So this is growth product. And that's how I ended up there. I never actually stuck to a specific positioning. I'm doing a lot of different things, all of them under the umbrella of growth product.
Why not growth marketing?
Growth marketing started evolving into entities at the moment, into fast experimentation across different channels and requires deep expertise into running paid ads, SEO. I don't really like so much this stuff anymore. I like building stuff. I like building. I'm a builder. I can understand them. I know when someone is trying to sell me fairy tales. I know when someone isn't doing a good job. But I'm not so much excited about being a paid ads expert. Because what is a growth marketer? Is someone that is not just someone that can lead and oversee these campaigns, but someone that actually can build very good campaigns. So yeah, I lost my passion towards that and I gained more towards the product.
Ok. Pentru că ai dat de gust, te întrerup să zic că LaunchPod dă voce poveștilor de startup-uri românești cu un twist global. Podcastul este o inițiativă a Launch Romania, powered by BCR, cu sprijinul Google și în colaborare cu partenerul nostru fondator, How2Web, și partenerul nostru media, start-up.ro. Let's go into the product. And one of the things that I saw on your LinkedIn, and I'm a geek as a product manager. Somehow people can tell me I'm a growth product manager. I have so many titles, but at the same time, one of the things that it boggles me is people's minds. And I saw that you have a psychology degree.
Yep.
So for sure, one of the things that it gets you excited is the jobs to be done theory.
Absolutely.
What is it? How you explain it to people for dumb it down as a concept for people to understand it?
Ultimately, jobs to be done is a commercialized version of the trans-theoretical model. The trans-theoretical model is a model that explains how people make change their habits, change what they do. You probably have heard it. It's the one that talks about pre-contemplation and contemplation and action. Is frequently used when someone wants to quit smoking, for example. So when you want to make a change, you are first in pre-contemplation, then you contemplate the change, then you might make some actions, and then you might go back to your habit or switch your habit. So jobs to be done, imagine it like the same thing, but for commercial decisions. It explains how our brain makes conscious and subconscious decisions when we are switching solving an issue or getting value about something from one way to another way. I'm trying to describe it as more as generic as possible because Jobs to be Done is using a lot the term hiring. So what is the solution that you are hiring to have the outcome that you expect? For example, we mentioned smoking, a very bad habit. I used to smoke. Why would I smoke? Because I wanted to relax, to occupy my hands. So if I, for example, every time I want to smoke, I eat a burger, I switch from smoking to junk food. If every time I want to smoke, I go for a run, I switch. I accommodate the same thing. Same stuff apply when we're buying products. I might switch from my old Volkswagen to a Tesla. During that process, there are some forces. You have seen that, the forces map. The push forces and the pull forces. Push forces are my Volkswagen broke down, so I need a car. Pull forces are I just got a promotion and I deserve to gift myself something. And then you have the opposite forces that are like the inertia and the fears, anxieties, which is like, who buys now an electric car? I don't know how that works, which is both an inertia and a fear. And also, how do you fix that? I don't even know how much the parts cost for a Tesla, which is an anxiety. So you have some forces that push you to do it and pull you to do it, and some others that do the exact opposite. It's very interesting. It applies to buying a Tesla or a Volkswagen. It applies to even eating a burrito or a pizza. It just when the decision is easier, it happens so subconsciously and quickly that we don't even realize it. So when you actually, through customer research, unpack these forces, it's like you hold the holy grail of decision making and you can manipulate it by influencing the value that your product is giving, influencing the communication that you are doing, generally influencing and reinforcing the forces that make someone buy, and weakening the forces that make someone not buy.
Yeah, I totally get it, and I smile because I love how you present it. And one thing that I understood, and I geek a lot about Jobs to be Done. Now I'm working with someone from US who is doing it for 30 years. It was one of the Bob Moesta's apprentices. And one of the things that I started to understand is people make that process easier when things are cheaper, and if they are more expensive, the process goes longer. And in one of the things that, even though we know that we need to do this stuff when we are building a product, like most of the time you hear that you need to do validation. This is called validation, trying to understand this process for some people. In the B2B world, it's bigger because you have different buyers, economical buyers, users, technical buyers, and so on. But why we don't do it, and I believe this is one of the biggest red flags in every startup, because people don't go outside of the building and validate or try to understand this.
Okay. I think there are many reasons for that, and human reasons. First, we are shy. We are introverts. People that are building stuff, it's not easy for them to get out and get out of the comfort zone of my ideas, my screens, and the things that I'm building. So there is already an opposite force that pushes me not to do it because that must be very uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. Then it is time consuming. It is costly, and it might actually tell me something I don't want to hear. So I think most of us, and I put myself into that process because my own startup has failed because of improper validation in the past when I was 24. I think we persuade ourselves that we don't need to do that, and then we pay the price for it. It is wrong. It is It is absolutely wrong. And you know, the interesting thing, I remember there is a company that helps you actually recruit people to do customer research, and they have a very interesting graph. I don't remember. I think it's
User
userinterviews.com.
testing.com, I think. Yes,
Usertesting.com, and
yes.
they say that 90% of the people, 90% of the companies think they are customer centric and user centric, while in reality only 15% are. And I see that very frequently. Even the companies and the people that are actually have the courage to do these conversations, they don't do them well. And sometimes this is also extremely dangerous because trash in, trash out. If you ask silly things, you will get silly answers and you will take silly decisions. And that sometimes is more dangerous because if you don't do it, at least you know that you didn't do it. But if you think you have done it, then you have a certainty and confidence that you are doing the right thing.
Yeah, I totally get it. And when you started to say like even people with experience that they are doing it, they are failing it. One of the fuck ups that I did, it was the fact that we started Narrio 8 months ago, and we went through validation and everything was fine. And I do it by the book, but I forgot one important key meter that I didn't validate. What creates urgency in the life of people to make them buy? And because I validated the problem, it was painful, they were ready to pay, they paid for other solutions, everything. But it didn't have that urgency. Like when I put it in front of people, they were like, yeah, it's nice, but I think we can do this with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I realized that, for me was a very, how to say, frustrating moment. Saying like, dude, I teach this. I tell people to validate pain, struggle, everything. And I forget about that. And in 2 months, we recreate all the interviews and we look into it and we figure it out and we figure out the urgency and so on. And we had to pivot because of that, because it was no urgency there. So that was one of the things that, yeah, I understand the part where you're telling, like, it's a human situation. You don't want to go out, you're afraid of judgment and so on. How you can at least do it in a proper manner. And I want you to get into the idea of framing people into ICPs and who are those people. And because most of the time we go and to validate, as you said, you go and validate and you say, I validated, but I didn't validate it on people who I believe that have the problem or this kind of stuff. Like I'm validating with my friends, they're saying they have the problem, I build the product, is not buying.
In the past, I used to teach a course on how to perform jobs to be done interviews, and one of the most important things which everyone can follow on how to do a jobs to be done interview is to make it a casual, chill conversation. Which means one of the best questions to ask in a jobs to be done interview, in a customer interview, is what are your thoughts about that? Just a casual question, and then just let them talk, let them lead the conversation, and out of that, have your maps, your forces map, have your timeline next to you, but you don't have to strictly follow a script that is dictated by a jobs to be done framework. You just have to do a casual conversation without leading the answer. For example, if you ask, do you like this product? This is already a biased question because people, and especially people that like you, will not tell you, no, it sucks and you suck and I'm not interested and I would never pay for that. They will tell you, yeah. And then you might ask them, would you buy that? And they will be like, yeah, perhaps. And then you're like, okay, buy it. And they're like, yeah, maybe later. So
I have other priorities.
I think the best questions to ask are the ultimately generic, and then at the end of them, at the end of such a conversation, to always have a qualification call to action. So we have a conversation. I show you my product. I tell you, tell me your thoughts. Generic. What do you think? You say la 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 la. Okay, can you expand on that? Can you tell me a little bit more about this? What did you mean when you said that? Can you elaborate a little bit on this? So you give me the feedback. You seem to be excited about my product, and then I serve you with a call to action. Okay, since you said all you said, would you like to be one of the early adopters? I will give it to you for $10 lifetime. Like, you don't even have to overthink your pricing. Just put a price tag, whatever it is. If they tell you no, then you need to take all this interview and throw it, because it's all a bunch of lies. So, long story short, just make casual conversation, and then at the end, validate it with a call to action. This is for me the ultimate advice if you don't want to become an expert in jobs to be done and customer interviews.
One of the things that I stolen from Bob Moesta, and I love his books and all his work, and one of the things that I stole from him is the fact that when I'm at events that I'm bored, I go and ask people how they bought their car, because it's a process that has all the forces and everything, and I just play with it and say, oh, but you didn't have anxieties, did you compare with different cars and so on? And all that process, it's pretty intense. And it's a casual conversation, and people feel very well because I ask them about their life and things are fun.
A good thing that Bob Moesta says, actually I don't remember if it's Bob Moesta, is to build a documentary. Have you read that? Like, try to build a documentary of the story of the person when they were making that decision. Even asking them, where were you when you took that decision? What was the weather? Can you remember how you were feeling? Like, literally as if we are making a little documentary of your switch.
Because I wanted to get your head around the startups, because startups, and because of understanding jobs to be done, how you come up with good startup ideas, and if from the 100 of startups you work with, you figure out good ideas, bad ideas, for sure. What were the characteristics of good ideas, or ideas that survived?
I don't want to disappoint you, but I don't have such a filter. I have, and I don't think it matters so much. If we were talking 10 years ago, I would tell you a good idea has a big market and clear value. Okay, of course you need to have some form of product market fit. Not your idea, but your product needs to find an audience.
Yes.
This is this is why 9 out of 10 startups die. They build a product to solve a problem that doesn't exist. So I take that for granted for the sake of our conversation, but in most cases I check the founders or the founder. So I think whatever idea you have, even if you decide to build a new sales force, it can find success if it's not a very bad idea, if the team is good, because you will pivot it, you will change it. This is part of the game. It will happen. If the founding team is not good, can you have the new Google as an idea? It will fail anyway. So I focus a lot into the people that run it, not so much into the idea.
But how you stop or help founders hallucinate?
Research, data. I mean, when I used to work with a guy that managed he was a cool guy, to create a founding team around an idea, and it wasn't something special. It was like an alternative of Gong, if you had seen.
Yes.
Like a tool where you would basically, an alternative for Gong, but for engineers, and then it switched to sales. whatever. It doesn't matter what the idea was. He managed to gather some people around an idea. And we started doing customer interviews. We started recruiting people to sell them. And okay, of course, even that process requires iterations, constant iterations, because you will not speak with your ICP from the beginning. You have to tweak the process, you have to tweak who you speak with until you find your ICP. But we couldn't find the ICP. And we were taking the feedback, iterating, but we were still not finding the ICP. And that was very fast feedback. And he had a landing page as well. He was trying to push it, a pre-launch campaign to actually gather some emails, gather some interest. And we couldn't find it. So before you actually start building massively an MVP, which I'm not opposed to the idea of testing through an MVP, but before even you build that, it's ideal that you get out and you recruit some people and you show them something, even if that is a landing page, and you have some conversations with them and you get the feel of the market, because in the worst case scenario, it will actually disvalidate your whole idea. In the best case scenario, it will give you important feedback on how to build it in the first place. So it will save you a lot of money. So yeah, it's all about research at the beginning, unfortunately.
Okay. That's a very plausible answer. And I was thinking now, if the data is not giving you the perspective, you just need to listen to the data. But at the same time, how you understand the beneath the data, because sometimes, like now, you can do ChatGPT deep research, Perplexity. You have AI agents from ChatGPT that are clicking on your behalf and so on. But how you get, even though the market is crowded, do you still go there?
Oh yeah. Generally, look, I'm 37. And if you ask me, I have no good idea. I have a lot of good ideas, but I know how the market works. So I know too much to run a startup at the moment. I think to run a startup, you need a little bit of a level of ignorance and a little bit of, not ignorance, just not be aware of the danger. This young feeling of, yeah, whatever, I'll nail it. Yeah, I'm the best. You are 22 years old and you think that you're gonna put down giants. You need a little
Salesforce.
bit. Yeah, you need a little bit of that. So it's not always about the data, it's about informing your decisions with data, not be delusional, yes. But being a founder needs a little bit of a delusion by itself, because if you think of it, you will be underpaid, like poor, for a very long time, working on an idea that has 0.1% of chance of working. You are following a passion. It doesn't make any sense. So taking that into consideration, yes, you can go into a crowded market. A crowded market means a highly validated market. There isn't a market that isn't crowded at the moment.
Yes.
Anyway.
With all the AI, for sure,
Yeah.
you're not alone.
There isn't something that isn't crowded at the moment. So it doesn't really make sense to disqualify crowded markets. You disqualify everything. The market is extremely saturated at the moment. So yeah, I don't think, just if you do what you like there are people that are making cheaper clones of expensive software and they're making millions out of them. They get into the most crowded markets. So it really depends what are you building and how you go to market. It's not so much about finding a blue ocean market anymore, because in digital there isn't. At least there isn't one that I know. If someone knows, please tell me.
Here is my contact.
Yeah.
I was listening to you, and one of the things that is striking me is the fact that people don't understand, and I don't understand at the same time, how to look at pull into the market, like demand. because most of the time we are building from supply side, supply minded. We have an idea, we build it, we put it into the market. It's like fishing. The market is crowded. Hopefully some fish will buy it from us and not from the competitors and so on. But how you stay into the lane, and before you're going to say data, get into some things that are like, if I want to start now and I need to go into a place where you find demand, how you will scavenge, how you look into places.
Yeah. You have to try several things, like find all the directories and submit yourself. Go to Reddit, find threads that talk about the problem you're solving, post yourself. Recruit people from Reddit to talk. Go to groups, Facebook groups, post yourself. Go to Quora, post yourself. Find the 100 people, add them on LinkedIn and try to talk to them and sell to them. Like, what I'm trying to say is that there isn't a recipe here. You, at the beginning of
This is the recipe. Go and do it.
just you have to go out in every potential place that exists and talk with people and try to sell them. How do you know that there is something there that you need to chase? There are some people that seem to like what you do and want to give you $1 for it. That's the first thing that you have to validate, like that the value finds a market. And the second thing is that they want to keep giving you that dollar. It doesn't matter if they give you a lot of dollars. It matters if they want to give you $1 and then they want to give it to you again. So what I'm generally advising to early stage startups is to totally ditch, and this is, by the way, one of the red flags, to totally ditch all the things that they read and are being told on LinkedIn about ads, scalability, complex pricing models and per seat and that. No, just do the simplest thing that you can do. Go out, start talking to people, have a pricing model that says $10 all included. Don't even like I have founders, early stage founders that they just launched an MVP, that they book sessions with me and they want to pay me to help them build a pricing model. And I'm telling them, what are you talking about, my friend? I mean, I would love to get your money to build you a fancy pricing model like the ones that your competitors have. But your competitors also have 100 people engineering team. They're way ahead of you. They're in growth stage. You are in an early stage, and what you need is validation. So all you have to prove at this stage is that someone wants to put their hand into their pocket and give you something. That's it. And then keep giving it. So make it the simplest possible. Like, let them take advantage of you, if you know what I mean. As long as they keep giving you that $1. So yeah, that's it. This is the recipe.
Okay. I got so attached about your rant that I forgot the question. No, I love the passion that you have, and I was like curious specifically of how you look into, like, how you help someone get over this part where LinkedIn now becomes a very toxic place for founders. Because I'm on LinkedIn, I try to post on LinkedIn. I try to be as real as possible, because sometimes I have the experience of fuck ups, as you say. I have family, I have like kids, the hectic life of being a founder, and at the same time I want to thrive as a founder. So most of the time I see a lot of people who are like 24/7 AI agents, and they are building stuff, and I'm scraping, and the day goes by, users are not entering in my platform, what to do, and how you help them in this sense. Because this is something that for sure you're going on LinkedIn to grow, and you feel overwhelmed because everyone is succeeding on LinkedIn.
Yeah. You touch one of the topics that I'm quite sensitive about, because this is all bullshit. These are all lies. like people that are nailing it, they don't advertise it. At first, they don't advertise it so hard. They don't try to sell you a course on how you can nail it too, because they have nailed it. So they don't want to reveal their recipe. People that have acquired 396 leads in 2 minutes with a recipe, they don't advertise it. They have discovered a pot full of gold. They will not go out there. Don't be stupid. I'm feeling bad, especially for younger people that they haven't yet made it. So they really are glorifying all this hustling, crushing it mentality because they haven't crushed it yet, and they think that this is it. But for you and me, that we are near our 40s, how old are you?
36.
30, okay,
Yeah.
we are near our 40s. We understand that this is all crap. So you have a decision to make. You can either keep whining and be like, LinkedIn is toxic. No, I'm not saying about you, like the person that is watching us. And be like, LinkedIn is toxic and everyone is like that and blah, blah. Or you can start laughing about it. Surround yourself with people that you are all laughing about it. Maybe start trolling them a little bit. So start laughing, mind your own business, use LinkedIn as a way to sell, basically, and make good connections. Talk with people one-to-one and be vulnerable. Because I can assure you that every time that I spoke with someone that you watch on LinkedIn and you think that they are nailing it, and I told them, you know what? I had a very difficult year last year. I almost got bankrupt, and I had problems with my family. They just open up and they tell you their story, and you realize that there is an actual person behind that, just pretending something on LinkedIn because they have to make some money, and you then somehow like that you make true connections, you make friends. So that's what I do. I laugh about it and I try to lead with vulnerability because it is contagious. It makes other people vulnerable and real, and that gives me friends. Uh, don't get me wrong, I wasn't always like that. I used to be, in my 30s, I used to be the typical Greek Balkan dude that was flexing and was hustling. I just had a very nice burnout being delivered to my ass at some point, and a couple of other things happened in my life, and I had to reevaluate how I see this world. So I'm not talking from a pedestal here. I'm not preaching as someone that knows more than you. I'm just talking as someone that life has slapped him very hard to his face, and now I'm 5 years ahead of you. So if someone gets something out of my rant, that was it.
Nice. I totally get it. There is another speaker that it was guest on this podcast. It's called Zoltan Vardi. I don't know if you know him, but he has a rant about hustlers and people who are selling you courses to know how to sell, and the only sell that they do, it's to you and not to someone else. And this is one of the things that I started to understand and started to make fun of it. It goes around on the internet, but at the same time, it's very toxic for startup founders because when you're a founder, you're scrapping your bucks to build something for a future that you tell yourself the stories that you're going to be rich and you're going to be successful. And I wanted to understand, and if you can share, what's a right motivation to build a startup? Or if there is something like that. For sure, there is no playbook. But what is a healthy way? Let's put it that way. What's a healthy way of building a startup?
I don't think that you can massively succeed. Now that goes into a philosophical discussion now and a psychological discussion, but I don't think you can massively succeed if you are absolutely healthy. What do I mean by that? Cristiano Ronaldo is a healthy dude. No, he's not. He's an obsessive dude. He's absolutely obsessed. He probably needs hours and hours of therapy. If you actually see the big picture of what we are doing, it makes no fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense. Aside from the purely philosophical thing that we will all die and we are entering the heart attack region of our life, so it really doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense financially either. Like 1 out of 1,000 makes some money or even more. You follow something. You are following either a passion or you have to prove something. I was always fueled by hate. So every time I succeeded in life is because someone undermined me and I wanted to break their jaw, but instead of breaking their jaw, I wanted to prove that I'm better than them. Is that healthy? No, it's super toxic. But that was my way. Other people work day in and day out because they used to be poor. They had a poor household, and now they are acting out of PTSD. Other people, they had other motives, but I don't think that the obsession that is needed in order to be a founder is driven by healthy motives. But what is a healthy motive? There is no healthy motive. It's whatever actually makes you happy. So if your gut is happy, if you feel like you wake up and you want to open your laptop and work, if there is no weekend, not because you are in a hustling, crushing it mentality and you are killing yourself, but because you are very, very passionate about something, then that is healthy. Then don't worry about, is that healthy, what my therapist would do. Screw that. Forget it. Just follow what makes you happy. If it doesn't make you happy though, you have to reevaluate it. I remember when I started consulting, I was fueled by hate for my last manager. I really hated that guy. He gave me a very hard time and I was like, no more 9 to 5. And I became a consultant just because I couldn't think of going back to work for someone else. And I became a consultant, and then I was also driven by my hate for a guy that was having a big agency, and I wanted to build something bigger than him. Deeply unhealthy, deeply toxic guy. But I made it. Like, I succeeded because of those things. And then I started hating my own clients, and I was like, screw consulting. I cannot deal with all these emotional people anymore. And I went back to full time. And I think, there are some pull forces and some push forces. The push forces are the traumas and the uncomfortable feelings that you have about something. And the pull forces are, I want to make more money, I want to improve my life, I want to flex to my wife, whatever. But I think that the push force, the one that keeps you there, is something way stronger, and it is not healthy. It cannot be healthy. It is a little unconventional, what I'm saying, but I'm asking you, in reality, what is the reason that you are hustling? Maybe not now. Now you have kids, you have a family. In the past, what was it? Didn't you want to prove something?
No, I wanted, you can put it as proving, but I was searching for approval.
Okay, exactly. Very good. A lot of people are searching for approval,
for approval and for validation that I'm good at it, and this thing.
Exactly.
Probably like these. I'm trying now to connect with some parts of me, and for sure.
You wanted to prove something to yourself.
I want to prove. I want to prove it to myself, but at the same time, I wanted for someone to applaud.
Yeah, low self-esteem is the widest and most popular force of success. Big success comes out of low self-esteem. So don't fight that. If you actually fix your self-esteem, that whole thing doesn't make any sense. So don't
Yes.
worry.
A friend of mine, she is in her 40s, I believe, that she has someone told her like, why you're not so successful, and she said, I have the same husband for 18 years and I have 4 kids. So because of that, that's one of the reasons, that one of the things that I truly understood. Like, I was in a podcast discussion and someone was interviewing me, and I started to look at jobs to be done from the state point of view of the Maslow's pyramid of needs. And one thing that you understand after you go from relational needs, it's self-actualization.
Exactly.
And if you go to self-actualization, you understand that nothing around, you don't need nothing.
Absolutely. Can I add something to what you say? When you hear all these people being ultra successful, what you don't hear is what have they sacrificed. And there isn't always romantic what have they sacrificed. For example, being a horrible wife or husband, or being a terrible father, might be the sacrifice that they made that they will not tell you. My dad is a typical Greek public servant. He was an average worker. But he also was an average dad, not a bad dad, and an average husband. Being average in three is such important. You have kids, you have a family, and you are having a career. Just being average in those three things and not bad in any of them is an accomplishment.
Yes.
So when you think, oh, how can I get so successful? The question is, would you sacrifice the relationship with your family, with your wife, with your kids, with your parents? I don't know, something. If the answer is no, then wait for it, because you might reevaluate how much you want to hustle in the future.
And if you look at the pyramid, Maslow's pyramid, the base, it's the human needs, like the functional. The second layer, it's the emotional. So you have the more emotional jobs. And the third is the relationship jobs. And if you look at it from that standpoint, most of the time we buy stuff to be in front of others in a very good relationship point, and so on. So we are in a point of history where most of the things are covered. Like the bare minimum, like if tomorrow I will not have money, I will figure out a way to get food. And I was discussing with someone, a colleague, and he was telling me, yeah, like you build this startup because you want your kids to be proud of. And I say, no, my kids are already proud of me. And that moment when I gave that answer changed the trajectory of, okay, why we are doing this. I do this because I like it. It gives me joy. When I wake up in the morning and I have this kind of discussions that I have with you, these are the things that are pushing me. So I just love it. As you said it was part of what you did in your career.
But you made it. This is I don't blame the younger people that are in that hustling mode, because you did it and then you deconstructed it. You have to make it to deconstruct it.
Yes.
So I understand as Aggelos by myself that if I never passed the I made it phase, then I wouldn't be able to come to that phase. There would always be something bugging me and chasing me. But I totally agree with you, and that typically happens, statistically speaking, that happens around 35, 33, 37. So I see a lot of people in our ages reevaluating what is it that am I doing and why am I doing it. And a lot of existential crisis.
Yeah, that was on my lips. Like, even I was in existential crisis, and I believe that sometimes I am, but because like when you started to ask, you changed the podcast to me, I started to choke a little, but I say, okay, I need to get into your questions, and that's how you work with it. But at the same time, most of the people don't stop to get into these answers and play this. How much do you emphasize this part of what do you think, how do you feel, how do you relate with your startup in your work, with the founders that you're working with? Do you help them evaluate the place where they are in life?
Having a founder is like having an engagement, a marriage. Did I ever have a successful engagement or marriage? No. Am I in the position to give advice? No. But I think that a successful engagement requires that you are open. Not that you are a high performer, that you are open and that you are willing to support the other party. So if two people are starting a business and they are not open with each other and they're not ready to carry the other person at the time that is needed, then it's hard. When I was 22, I made a startup with my best friend. And we very soon realized that we were working in totally different speeds and motivations. This is old story now. I don't want to trash talk the guy, but we ended up in a very dirty situation. Generally, I think that this is a bet. I don't know what to advise on that because I don't have a recipe. It is like a jackpot. We say in Greece, picking, we say marrying someone is like putting your hand into a bag full of snakes and trying to catch the flower. It's exactly the same with a co-foundership.
Yes.
Oh, you never know what will happen in 2 years.
Yes, that's for sure. I was more curious if you assess this at least, or you're questioning.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can make your own.
This like when you're looking with someone, is this a red flag?
Look, I have my own asshole policy, and my no asshole policy. So what is an asshole for me might differ from you. I like working with mature people that I connect and that we are working in similar rhythms and we are complement each other in terms of what skills are we bringing on the table. But again, I haven't run a 10-year business with a co-founder to give advice on that topic. It would be a little arrogant to give advice on something that I haven't achieved so far. And if you ask me, because I am a difficult person myself, if I would start a company now, I would start it by myself. Just because I would be afraid that other people would have an issue with me, not because I would have an issue with someone else. Like I'm the weirdo here. So yeah, I'm in no position to give advice about that.
Okay, nice. 3-4 things that comes up to your head when you're talking with someone who is young, doesn't have the money. He will probably want to build a startup for various reasons, as we discussed previously. What are the things that you will suggest him to take in consideration?
Okay, when today's young people, and that will sound extremely boomer, but yeah, the first thing I would advise to someone is I would ask them why. Why do you want to do that? It's a little bit of a trend nowadays, and you see a lot of young people wanting to start a company just because they like the identity of being a cool startup kid.
I tell them like they have a dog. Some people have a dog. Some people start a startup just to have something to talk about on a networking event.
Absolutely. So the first thing is, okay, why are you doing that? Why did you pick? Like, if they just want to start a startup, what is the reason? Do you have a passion? Do you want to work on solving a problem? Or do you just want to start a startup? lots of them will actually tell you that I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a hustler. They say such bullshit nowadays. Check your why. Then surround yourself with the right people. This Gen Z mentality that I see nowadays is a little silly and simplistic. You will not run a startup like that because you want to be something. You will run a successful startup if you fall in love with a problem, or if you fall in love with a mission, or if you fall in love with making some people happy by giving them something that they didn't have. So surround yourself with mature people. Think of your why. Study books that people recommend. Not
read them with ChatGPT.
Yeah, not necessary to read every word, but definitely be aware of what is out there. Now, on the technical aspect, you want to start a startup. Okay, what is it that you contribute to your startup? Are you writing code? Are you designing the product? Are you selling it? Now, pick your lane. You have to have a substantial value towards that startup. So pick what is it, and then learn it. Learn it very well. If you are not the one that builds the product, that writes the code, then you must be very good in something else. So what is your lane there? What are you bringing on the table? Ultimately, accountability. What are you accountable for? So these are like from the top of my mind what I would ask a younger person. Because apparently I'm not that young anymore. I cannot belong in that.
Bro, you're still young. Try to understand that previously.
I'm joking.
Yeah, for sure. No, I after I have kids and now I'm working with people who are like 22 in my team and 24. Yeah. When I heard that they are 22 and 24, I was shocked and I say, I'm still young.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Let's say that to each other. We're good.
Any final thoughts? How people can find you?
I'm really looking forward to visit Bucharest. It's I have a tremendous respect and love for Romanian people, and I don't say it because I will be hosted by the conference. I actually always say that I spent a year in Iași, and it was the best year. The times that I wasn't drunk, because I was 20, and that was I was doing there. I was working very hard with very cool people. I was treated amazingly, and I actually felt like Romania is a country that will explode at some point, because the people that I met are very hardworking, very humble, and very good. So and at the time that I visited, I envied a little bit this very nice culture that I saw in young people. So yeah, I have tremendous love for Romania, and looking forward to be there. And people can find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, on LinkedIn.
I saw that you have a podcast.
I have a podcast called Not Crashing It, where I basically it's called Not Crashing It. That is the logo, because I'm not crashing it, and because I want to talk, and I talk with people that are open, real, and vulnerable about their journeys and about their reevaluation of their lives. And all the people I talk are highly successful or have been highly successful, but they also have the intelligence to evaluate their life from a standpoint of reality and vulnerability, and they share some shocking and amazing stories with me, and I get better out of that. And I think people that will listen will also get better, and they will feel a little bit that they are not alone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
It was a pleasure, and it was very nice. See you in 6 weeks, I believe so.
Yeah, 6 weeks. About 6 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Știu, e finalul podcastului și vreau să-ți mulțumesc că ai ajuns până aici. Și în același timp partenerilor BCR, Google, How to Web și start-up.ro. Iar până la următorul episod, ca să ai ce face, te așteptăm pe Launch.ro, să intri în comunitatea Launch Romania, unde găsești evenimente și inițiative loved by Launch. Bye!